Hello, everybody. I am just getting set up and getting started here. And just bear with me for a second. Okay, so I am sharing my screen now. Hopefully everyone can see that. Hello, everybody. Just bear with me for a couple of seconds, people, as I try to get everything set up here. Get my last sip of coffee and stuff into me. And we've got about 3 minutes till this starts. I've got 8 viewers on so far, and we will probably have a few more on in a little bit. You're going to see me kind of being distracted for a couple of minutes here, but just bear with me as I just get all my stuff set up. And anyone who's in the who can see this on live chat, or I mean on the chat room, why don't you say hi to me? Reach out, say hi. We'll get going in about 2 minutes here. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know if it looks like this is running. It looks like it's back on the broadcast. And the reason why I have the chat box, if you go down below on the page you're viewing this on, if you go down below, there's a chat box there. So what I've done is basically, this is open. If you feel like asking me any kind of questions. Hi, Carol, from Akron. Akron, nice. Akron, where? Pennsylvania, I'm assuming. Thanks for showing up, Carol. Appreciate that. There are going to be questions down below that you can ask. And so I always preface this with, I'm not going to pretend I'm the world's smartest man on LinkedIn. In fact, I don't think anyone should ever profess that they're, hey, Ken, I don't think anyone should profess that they're the world's greatest guru in something. But one of the reasons why I do this is because of the fact that I've had so many people reach out to me over the last couple of years, or even a little longer, and say, I see you all the time on LinkedIn. I see your posts. I see a bunch of stuff you're doing. Is there, can you help me out? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I just thought, you know what? I do a lot of this stuff. I may as well show people how to do this stuff on LinkedIn so that it makes sense to them. And I mean, the best thing that can happen is that if I can even, hey, Stephen, if I can even help you just a little bit, hopefully, it'll make your life a lot easier. I joined LinkedIn, just to give you an idea. I joined LinkedIn when there was about 6 million users, and I was down in Houston at an event. And there was a guy, Mark Sophia, who was giving he was working for Halliburton. He was giving a speech, and I just went up to him afterwards, talked to him. He says, "Oh, we'll connect on LinkedIn." I'm like, "What is LinkedIn?" He goes, "Give me your business card." So I gave him his business card. He emailed me and gave him a link to LinkedIn. And that's how I got on. So that was like 10 years ago. There's over 400 million users now. So I've been one of the early people that was on it. I never used it that much when I first got it, but after a while, I ended up, in the last kind of 2-3 years, I've been using it more and more. And now it's more or less predominantly the only thing that I really use on social media or follow on social media type stuff. So it's just one of those things that, um, you know, long story short, I'm just saying I've learned a few tricks along the way, I guess is the best way to look at it. So, the chat box is there for you guys to be able to ask questions. I started with 3 things that I thought I'd just bring up. Now, the length of time of this, by the way, is all dependent on how many questions get asked. And this could be a 5-minute endeavor. This could be a 2-hour endeavor. Grow to give or grow, give, grow, get, give. Hello, grow, get, give. So I'm just saying this is open, and it could be I've scheduled up to 2 hours, but literally any time between now and 2 hours is how long this is going to take. So hopefully you've got some good questions. I've got 3 that I started with. So the first thing I wanted to show you, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. I'm just going to flip over and see. Yep, it looks like you can see it. One of the first things I wanted to make note of is that LinkedIn's changed the way its interface looks from where it was before. They did this a couple of weeks ago, and it's not. It didn't throw me for a loop. This used to be darker color down here, and I can't remember the color over here. But literally, that's kind of the only thing that they changed, just as it looks to kind of on the interface right now. One of the things that they also changed that I found was quite interesting was their messenger functionality, or their email functionality, and now it's messenger. So it's based on messages as opposed to kind of emails. And when I first started using it, it threw me for a loop. And the reason it threw me for a loop is because of the fact that hey, Mike Skripnik. I thought so. I thought that's who it was. Hey, bud. The one thing that it threw me for a loop is you used to be able to put in a title here and then put your email in, and then you could add multiple people to it, and also make those people's email addresses blind to you, or blind to anyone else that was getting a message. So you could send out an email to 50 people, and they wouldn't see who else was included on that email thread. Nowadays, if you actually create a message, and for example, I'll use Mike here. I'll use Mike because I know he's on here. I'll use my buddy John Leishman. And, if I just type in a message here, like this, if I send this, then the problem is going to be that both Mike and John are going to see that I sent a message to him. And that may not be, in that case, I may not want to let these guys see that I'm sending a message to them. So that's one of the downfalls that I found with this. I haven't found a way around it yet. They still have the ability to attach pictures, files. You can use these little smiley emoji cons here. So they've got a few that you can put in here if you want. And if I click it, it goes nice. And then the problem with that, though, when you click on that, it automatically sends it. So there's some of the issues that I've had with their new messenger side of things. It's just, it's going to take some time to get used to. It's, I guess I look at it and I say it's probably one of the you got to get used to it, because anyways, it's here to stay basically until they make a change further on down the road. So that's one of the changes that they did. The other thing that they did recently that kind of is interesting as well is in groups. What I found was that they've changed the groups and the way groups look. And there's a few different things. Like, you used to be able to find your groups across the top, or it was listed down below. Now what you have to do is you have to go in here to find your groups that you're in, which I find it's a bit more of a pain because you don't see them all in one area. The other thing too is that when you go into a group, for example, I'll go sales tip a day here. They used to have a promotions tab. So what I'm starting to think now about some of this stuff is that there's going to be a little bit more spamming going on, I guess is the best way to see it, because people used to put stuff in the promotions tab to promote webinars and stuff like that. Hold on here. I got a question. If I understand what you're saying, you can't send a blast message to multiple people without party seat. Yes, that is correct. Guess 9597. Anyways, back to this is what I'm going to say is that there's they've changed the way it looks, the way the interface is, all the members and everything. It takes a bit of time to get used to. It's similar but a little different. One of the things that I found that's interesting, like I say, is that they don't have the promotions tab. You can only do a conversation or jobs. And I think this is going to lead to a little bit more spam, because the promotion side, at least you were able to put your promotions into a tab in the old groups. And now no one has anywhere to put it. So they're going to put it into the conversation. So that's, that to me is one of the things that is going to create a bit of a problem. So that's kind of that's the three things that I've seen just kind of recently from LinkedIn that has, and that's kind of literally over the last month or so, that's changed. And here's my thought on this one is that I think LinkedIn is going through a whole kind of platform change, but they're doing it a little bit at a time as opposed to one fair swoop. Hey, Chris, can you set the press enter to send as a default to go around the end? Hey, Patrick. So I'm going to say that's probably back when you were talking in messages here. And so press enter to send. Yes. So you set the press enter to send as a default to get around the auto send. Yes. So what happens is, what I found is when it's like this, if you press enter, it just sends it, right? But a message will pop up and it will say, are you sure you want to send? At least it did for me the first few times. What happens was I kept kept pressing this off. So I would take this press enter to send button off, and then ultimately it literally ended up remembering it, and it stopped doing that sort of stuff. So that's kind of how I got around that. So let's see, Mike, what's the best way to obtain permission? Oh, sorry for a sec, guys. I got to I'll get my email notifications. Chris, what is the best way to obtain permission to migrate your LinkedIn contacts to something like Aweber or Infusionsoft? Hey, great question, Mike. Help center discuss group changes. Can I post a link? Whoa, lots of stuff coming in here. Hey, Deller, Mark Deller, how's it going? Sorry, I'm trying to get to one question at a time here. So, Mike, to answer your question is, just as with anything, you can't necessarily just export your contacts out of LinkedIn and put them into like Aweber. One thing that I think you can do is one-offs, is once you've connected with someone on LinkedIn. So let's just go into the connections here. And let's see here. Let's pick my buddy Walt here. So if I want to send something to Walt, what I can do is I can go into his contact information here, and I can grab his email, copy that, and then I go into my Gmail, and I can send a and I can send him a direct email. And then I can simply say to him, hey, can I put you on my email list? Now, you can do that in here too. You can send him an email and say, hey, can I put you on my email list? And if he responds yes, then great. That's just it's a great way to get him on. So, you can do it in LinkedIn if you want, or you can grab the email address here and you can go outside of LinkedIn, send him an email, and then do it that way. So hopefully that answers your question, Mike. Is there info in LinkedIn Help Center discussing group changes, and why can I post a link? So I'm trying to figure out kind of what you're trying to get at there. I think what you're asking is there a info on LinkedIn Help Center discussing group changes and why? Can I post link? Oh, so can I post link? Well, I guess 255 when you ask that question. If you find something, please post that link in the chat discussion box here. That will help you out. That'll help everyone out to show that. I would say if you're trying to find stuff, Help Center in LinkedIn is if you go into the upper right-hand corner here, what you do is you just click down here and you're going to get the Help Center. And then it's going to pop up, and then you can start asking your questions here. So let's go group and just see if anything comes up under groups. New group features. So this, so you know what? First one, if you type in group, so if you go in the upper right-hand corner and type in group, you're going to get a new group features. Thank you very much. There you go. We got it. We got it right there. So that will go over some of the new group features that you got. Holy smokes, there's a ton in here. So I haven't even gone through any of these things to take a look at them yet. But the one thing I did see is now all groups are private groups, so they're not just open. So what does that mean? Our research shows that professional conversations are most effective in a private, trusted space. So conversations in groups won't be visible until you've joined the group. So there you go. So you have to do that. Discuss changes in promotions. It discussed changes for promotions for you. Great. Remove a promotions tab. There we go. Thank you very much. Guest 2055. You have been a blessing on this one. Thank you. Thank you. One of the other things too, I'm going to go back to my buddy Walter's profile here. So I'm going to give you guys a bit of a tip that when you're looking at someone's profile, here's something that I do. Is whenever I see them or I see this box, literally, I just click endorse. And one of the reasons why I click endorse when I'm looking at someone's profile is that it is going to show up in the notifications here. So one of the things that you're going to see is it shows up in a notification here. The other thing it actually does is it shows up in your in emails, depending on how you've got your email set up, but it'll show up and Walter will get an email saying, hey, Chris Hamilton endorsed you. So literally here's food for thought. If you're trying to get on the radar of like 10, 20, 100 different people, is you can go look at their profiles. So first of all, it's going to show people that you've actually looked at their profiles if they look at who's viewed your profile. So I went into profiles, who's viewed my profile. And then what you're going to see is it's going to show who's viewed my profile. So I get to see who's viewed my profile, right? So that's the first thing that's going to happen. Second thing that's going to happen is it's going to show up in an email. So guess what? I got a kind of a double thing that goes boom, boom. This person looked at your profile here. So it's an interesting way to just stay on people's radars, obviously. So guess 9597, how to get your social selling score. So great question. So here's one of the things I'm going to show you guys about social selling. So you go to LinkedIn /sales/SSI. So LinkedIn /sales/SSI. When you go on to this, it will bring up your what they call the social selling score or social selling index. So it gives you your index. Now, this is based on what they call four pillars. And so I highly recommend anyone here jump on and check out your social selling score or your social selling index score. And if you're brave enough, put it in the chat box. I did this last time in the last webcast we did, and I had, there's actually guys that had some great stuff that did really well on this stuff. And anyways, so LinkedIn ranks kind of how you do specific things. So in this case, the four pillars that they use are establishing your professional brand, finding the right people, engaging with insights, building relationships. And the nice thing about this is if you go in here, am I correct? Okay, Carol, I'll get to that in a sec here. Just as soon as I get through the social selling stuff here. The establishing your professional brand. So there's a couple of things here. If you hover over the bar, it gives you a bit of a info. And I know that's kind of probably small for you guys to read, so I'll just kind of read it when we get here. There we go. Establishing your personal brand. So sorry guys, I'm trying to just get it to load here. I am one. Guess 2055. I am one. So the top 1% of your industry, 9% of your net worth. So that's good. What's your score on the left here though? That's the big one right there is where it comes down to. So anyways, establish your brand, establish your professional brands, complete your profile with the customer in mind, become a thought leader by publishing meaningful posts. So obviously posts are one of those things that you really want to do. Finding the right people, identifying better prospects in less time using efficient search and research tools, engaging with insight, discover and share conversation-worthy updates to create and grow relationships, and then build relationships. Strengthen your network by finding and establishing trust with decision makers. So my ranking is at 88. It hovers kind of between 86 and kind of 88 on a regular basis here, as you can see kind of over here. But the interesting thing is in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see how you rank compared to your industry. And then you're going to see why you rank, how you rank compared to your network as well. Greg, I'm glad you shared 30. And you know what? Guys, sorry, I go off on tangents here. It's just because I'm trying to answer your questions and do this at the same time. Just a food for thought, guys. When I did my webcast a couple of weeks ago, and I'm doing one in 2 weeks on December 2nd, there's a guy who jumped on, Adam O'Neill out of Ottawa, who took his social selling score literally from like yours, which was about 30 to about 57 or even higher. I can't remember what it was. And he did some of the stuff that I taught in the webcast and ended up landing like 2 or 3 new meetings with individuals he's never met with before. So this stuff totally works. And I'm just plugging my webcast that's going to be in a couple of weeks. I'll get to that in a little bit here. But it's just, Greg, stick with it, man. Anyways, the other thing too is if you go to this page and you click on here, it's going to bring up kind of how you can fix some of this stuff. So to answer that question, someone said, do you have any tips to move on gauge insights with meaningful prospects? All you got to do, just go here. It's going to pop it up and it gives you some stats. And then it says, here's what you need to do. Here's some tips that you need to do. Here's some of the stuff you need to do. Here's some of the stuff you need to do. I can get into this, but you know what? It's probably easier if you go through it on your own. Hey, Adam O'Neill, how you doing? He vouches for it. There we go. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Big shout out for Adam. He gave me high fives and group hugs the other day, so I really appreciate it. So Adam, where did if you can say where were you at and where did it go to, and how many meetings did you manage to score just by using some of the tips and tactics that I talk about in my webcast? I'll wait for the response here. And then, sorry, I was going into this part up here, which was the social selling index. If you come down here, you're going to see people in your industry and people in your network and how you rate against them. So here's something that's absolutely abysmal, is that sales professionals in marketing and advertising have an average social selling index of 22, which is, that for me, it's awesome because then I can like totally kick butt on anyone who's in my industry based on these kind of numbers. I'm 4 times higher than them. And then literally you can also see where these people rank on average in here. So if one of the things you really truly want to get above is this score right here for your industry. As it relates to people in your network, I mean, hey, nice to know, but not necessarily the best thing to know and stuff like that. So that's the social selling index, high level on this one. Once again, go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI. You're going to see your score over here. You get to see kind of where you're ranking over here. Then what you do is if you click on any one of these links here, you're going to find a little bit of more information on this and how you can better improve your score or better improve some of these things that you can do. And then obviously down here, just see how you rank against other individuals. So I'm going to go back to Carol's question here. Premium accounts. Am I correct that only thing you gain with a premium account is the ability to see more of who's been looking at your profile? Any other benefits we should know? Yes. I actually have a post, I think, coming up on what are the benefits or what are the benefits behind that. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to go into another tab here, LinkedIn, and I'll show you where you get to see the differences and I'll talk to it. So I highly recommend everybody look into this. So what you do, just hit upgrade here in the upper right-hand corner. And when you hit that, it is going to bring up a page that brings into premium. Now on my account, for some reason or other, it goes to recruiters. I have no idea why, but just go into LinkedIn Premium. So there's 4 tabs, first of all, when you go in here. There's LinkedIn Premium. Let's see, for recruiters, for job seekers, and for sales professionals. This is a different offering by LinkedIn called Sales Navigator. They're 2 separate platforms. It's a wicked platform, but I'm not going to go into it now because I actually don't have it. I used to have it at a company I was working with, but I don't anymore. So here's your difference between free. So you get to see who's viewed your profile. So with your free account, I think you can only see like the last 5 people that looked at it. And then what happens is with a Business Plus account, so this is the account I'm on right here, I get to see the last 90 days. So usually on average, that hovers around 500. It's probably going to grow a little higher from that because I've been way more active on LinkedIn over the last month here. One of the other things is sending in-mails. So with a free account, you don't get to send an in-mail. What an in-mail is it allows you to send direct email messages to people in LinkedIn. So let's say you find someone on LinkedIn and you want to reach out to them. With a free account, you have to go buy these in-mails. With a premium account, you get 15 a month. And I think what happens is I've got like 30 that are racked up right now. So I think what it does is it actually, it kind of holds on to the last month and kind of gives you kind of that amalgamated and allows you to build it up. But anyways, even if it doesn't, you still get 15. If you buy these, basically you buy an in-mail at I'm in Canada, so it's $10. In the US, maybe it's $7, $8. I don't know for sure. But I pay, $50 a month for my account because I pay annually. Just for that one feature, if I'm paying $10, that's $150. So I'm already getting my money back just by doing that. So that's one of the other things. Introductions. If you find someone on LinkedIn and you're connected with someone, so for example, I'm going to go into my advanced search here and I'm going to go second level connection. I'm going to go sales and let's go here. So if I go in here, what I can do, I can see that I've got different people. Hey, Steven, you're connected to this girl. So if I wanted to reach out to her, I could, go through Steven. So I could look at her profile here and go down here and I could ask Steven to introduce me to Roberta. I'm not going to because I don't really necessarily want to meet Roberta, but that's an introduction. So right there, You get 5 of those a month. With the premium account, you get 25 a month. But I'll show you a little tip. What I do is I actually, if I see that Roberta is connected to Stephen, I would reach out to Stephen and go, hey, Stephen, I'd send him an email and say, hey, Stephen, I see you're connected to Roberta. The whole bunch of different stuff. Is there any way you could introduce me to her? That's the way I'd get around that. But anyways, still though, you get 5 of these compared to 25. The premium search. So when I'm actually in LinkedIn's advanced search functionality, so I'll go back into here. One of the nice things that you get is when you're looking at advanced search, and if you haven't used advanced search, this is like the #1 tool you should be using in LinkedIn. You get all of these for free. So you can kind of pick the relationship, the location, industry. These ones you have to actually upgrade to get access to. So in this case, if I want to look for specific people in a group, or if I want to take a look at company size, I can do that and further refine my results. So that's actually one of the nice things as well. Profile searches. So actually, when you hit or when you're doing your searches, you only get to see 100 people, and then also I get to see 500 people, and then saved if I have saved searches. So there's a bunch of different reasons. Basically, is what I'm coming down to. I'll tell you, there's numerous reasons why you want to do this. I think one of the biggest ones is having this added functionality here. The other thing too is also seeing who's viewed your profile and some of the metrics that you get with who's viewed your profile, and being able to reach out to these people. Those are, right there, those are some of the major reasons that I look at getting it. Which premium account do I have? I have the Business Plus account. Truthfully, I used to have the executive account at a company I used to work at, and quite honestly, the difference between these two are really not all that much, except for the double the amount here and a few other things here and there that you get to add in. But it was stuff that I never really used. The one thing that was nice about the Business Plus account was when I set up save searches, I got to see the results daily. And I'll show you what a save search is first in a second here. So when I go into the advanced search, what I can do is that if I set up a search that I really like, then what I can do is I can actually save it. And I'll show you my save searches here. I've got these different save searches that come to me on a weekly basis. So I've set a parameter up under let's go Safety Calgary here and show you. I think it'll pull it up. But basically, it shows it'll show me all the people in Calgary that have the terms safety in it. But what this does in the save search is anytime anyone updates their profile that has that, you can actually click on this. So I click on here right now, and it shows me the 22 people that have actually changed something in their profile. Now, why this is important is because if you can go through on a weekly basis and look at these results, and you look at people's profiles here, if you find someone who started at a new job and they have budget and can spend money, they are 10 times more likely to make a change, and they're willing to do that in the first 3 months after they start a new job because they want to make an impact on what they're doing. So there's a huge opportunity for you to make inroads into a company by just looking at these saved searches. And how you do that is you basically would go in. So I'll go into Bradley's account here. So what I would actually do, and I'm actually connected to him, but what I would do is I would try to see what his positions are and is there any recent changes. And for example, if he was at Trotter and Morton here, and I were to see that this was less than 3 months, I would try to connect with this guy, or at least send him an email and try to set up a meeting with this person so that I can try to get in the door and try to get my product in front of them. I say and try a lot here. So, but that's one of the opportunities that that the Save Searches do for you on the premium account. So it was nice to get those on a daily basis and to get upwards of 10. I didn't use the full 10, but it was nice to get that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the differences. So Carol, good thing you're 71. That's awesome. 3% in your industry, 12% in your network. You know what? If you just keep it using LinkedIn, you'll go even higher than that. Let's see here. How do you leverage who has seen your profile to generate meetings? So here is what I do. So to find out who's viewed your profile, what you do is you go into profile and you go into who's viewed your profile. And so what happens is I have a premium account. So if you have a free account, you may not see all of this stuff. So just bear that in mind that you may not see some of this stuff in here. So what I do is you go through, and it doesn't. I wouldn't attack these people and ask them for a meeting is the first thing I would do. But for example, like Derek Bedford here, I would reach out to Derek and send him a message. Now, I'm not going to, because I'll tell you why. I noticed up here, Derek's already actually invited me to connect. So I'm not gonna do it, but this is just to show you on Derek. First thing you do is, so once again, you go into profile, go into who's viewed your profile, then come down here, and then what you're gonna see is this picture. Do not, whatever you do, click connect here. And the reason being is that just sends a quick message to these guys saying, hey, I want to connect with you on LinkedIn. And that's it. It's brutal. I don't like that. I accept everyone who connects with me. But you know what? If someone is going to try to reach out and connect with you, at least give them a reason why. So here's how you get around that, right? Is you can, I'll use this person because I know they haven't done anything with me. So you click here or you click here. And this is either the picture, the profile picture, or their profile. And obviously this person doesn't have a profile picture yet, but what I will do is I will click here. And then what I see is I see someone who's got, spent some time building up his profile and stuff like that, and why they may have tried to connect with me. But what I would do is you go in here, go to this arrow that goes down and go connect. And so then what happens is you've got these choices between colleague, classmate, we've never done friend, blah, blah, blah. Every time I do this, I just pick colleague, pick STAD consulting. Now, here's the one thing. Do not use this. I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn, Chris Hamilton. I find that is one of the biggest mistakes that people make using LinkedIn. Give them a reason why. Go Demola. I see you viewed my profile on LinkedIn. Is there anything that I can help you with? Help you with. And then you just put in, you can leave this. I'd like to add you to my professional network. And then just send the invitation. And so to get around to your question of how do you leverage who's viewed your profile to generate meetings, you don't necessarily attack or do like a quick email into them. Do it that way. And then this person, Demola, may actually email me back and connect and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm looking to do this, or I'm looking for that. And just, start that engagement back and forth with that person as well. And that's how you would do. That's how I would do it, to reach out and do that sort of stuff. So hopefully that answers your question, guest 9597. So the other thing that you'll see too is that when you reach out to someone and send an invitation, you're going to see people you may know on LinkedIn. So I think one of the things that LinkedIn does is if you've connected your email account or accounts into LinkedIn, they will pull it in, and they can take a look at who you have, who you're connected with, and via email, and they'll make that kind of loop back into their system and start bringing these people forward. The other thing that it does too is I think it starts to look at also how many shared connections do you have as well. And they're going to say, hey, based on certain factors, we think you may know this person. So the nice thing is, if once you go and connect with someone, just take a quick peek through here and see if there's anyone in here that you may know. And you might be surprised. You might actually come across people and go, oh, geez, I thought I was actually connected with these people. I guess not. So I guess, I should reach out and connect with this person. So there you go. That's one of the, that's another tip that you can use right there. Let's see. Anyone else got any other questions or anything like that? I'm taking a pause here. I'm going to take a drink really quick. I'll show you guys another tip. Go to your homepage and how to get on people's radars. Up in the upper right-hand corner here it says 11 ways to keep in touch. And this will help you keep on people's radars as well. So what it says, Lucas here has a new job. So you can either like that or comment. I usually just hit comment. Congrats. There you go. So watch, I'm going to do all 11 of these while we're here. And I'll tell you why in a second again. Boom, boom. So this will do work anniversaries and a bunch of other things. And I'm almost at the very end here. And there we go. So then what happens is it says I'm all caught up. Then it starts to bring up people I know. But anyways, the reason why I do that is because then it starts to show up in people's notification stream here as well. So, hey, look at that. That person already just accepted my my connection. So there you go. So that's interesting. That you'll show up in their notifications here saying that someone congratulated you as well. Let's see. Recently connected with about 40 people in a city where I am spending some time. Sent them 2 emails asking to get together to network. Have not scheduled one meeting. Any suggestions? So, not knowing what your email said or anything like that, I would, I can't necessarily comment on that, but here is something that you can do. Let's see. Scrappy. Yeah, I agree with you. I tend not to actually do that, but I had to connect with that person just to give you guys or show you guys how to do that. So you know what here? So the 40 people that you reached out to, or connected with on LinkedIn. Now let me know, did you actually connect with them? Did they accept your connection request? And if so, then, one of the things that I would look at is if they've connected or accepted your connection request. One thing you can do is when you go into someone's profile that, and I'll use John's here, for example. See, I always endorse these people when I get in there, guys. What you can do is go into their contact information, and their contact information, you're going to get it here, over here. So now I've got John's home phone number, so I'm not going to call him at home, but let's just use this as an example. So you've reached out, you sent a message, no responses, no meetings, no anything like that. You know what? Pick up the phone, give him a call. I'll bet you'd probably get 4 or 5 meetings out of that one. And that's not cold calling, because you, in essence, have connected with them and then sent them a message and just say, hey, I'm following up on this. Good. So that's, yeah. So here's what I would do is, if I'm trying to set these meetings up, is then just reach out to these guys and introduce yourself if you really haven't personally, and just say, hey, I'd like to get together and meet you, introduce myself to you in person, because I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. Was hoping I could buy you a coffee or something like that. That's my recommendation. Apart from that, if you don't want to do that or not going to do that, then what I would do is just continue working on that relationship with that person. Once you connect with people on LinkedIn, you should always be trying to build on those relationships so that you can leverage them. And the reason why you want to leverage them too is that you want to be able to use your first level connections to get into their first level connections, which would be your second level connections. So, for example, if I type in, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go VP sales, and I'm going to go current, and I'm going to go Calgary. It's search. So it's going to bring up every single connection that I have. So 336 results here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply look at my second level connections. So there's 258, right? So, that's just one of those things where you want to be able to leverage, anyone that's connected. So if I want to meet Sandor, I've got a bunch of people here that I could probably reach out to. Could I use Craig, Cam, or Rob? Probably. But if I go down here and click view all 33 shared, it's going to bring up all these 33 shared people that are connected to him. And I can scroll through and see if there's anyone in here that would introduce me to him. So I could use Sean Derby, who's my old boss at IBM. I could use Henry Caterna, who's a buddy of mine. I can use it. So long story short, what you want to do is you want to if they don't accept or whatever, just keep strengthening those relationships. And how you strengthen them is by sending, content that they find valuable, or even share insights with them and stuff like that. Just go back to your social selling index here and figure out how to engage with insights. Just click on here and it'll tell you how to do that sort of stuff. So that's of interest. Okay, so someone else had another question here. Oh, the Boolean search. Yes. Okay. So let's go into LinkedIn search tips. Go into LinkedIn, type LinkedIn search tips in your in Google or any search engine, but I always use Google. And you can see tip sheet, Boolean search tips. And so this thing will make your life so much easier as well. Reason being is that the advanced search. So I'm going to go over again to this advanced search here. And let's see here. Sorry, people were texting me. I was trying to see if there was questions coming through on text. So I would use, in this case, so for example, I'm going to use VP, I'm going to use Vice President Sales, and I'm going to go in Calgary. And I pull this up and I get 194 results, right? So now if I go over to this tip sheet, this Boolean tip sheet, what I would do is there's 5 things that you can do. There's quotes, there's parentheses, there's and or not. So in quotes, it's when you're trying to tie 2 words together, right? When you're using the brackets, if you'd like to do a complex search that's combining terms and modifiers, and these are modifiers, and or not. And I'll get to this in a second, show you why it's valuable. Then if you want to find something, so for example, I want to find someone that has sales and marketing experience, I would use and in here, and it has to be in capital to be able to tie those 2 terms into your search results. You use or if it's sales or marketing in capital. So if they have sales, a VP sales or VP marketing, for example, and then not if you're trying to exclude something. So VP sales or marketing, not let's see, president or something like that. So it pulls out. Anyways, long story short, it is if you go to salestipaday.com and search on, I have, let me pull it up and I'll send you guys the link here. I have a post that shows the 15 best ways to use. So bear with me as I scroll through here because this will make your life easier because I created a video on it and I also show where it is. There we are. 15 LinkedIn tips to effectively find more qualified sales leads. So if you go to, it's a long one here. Tell you what, I will paste it in. I can't paste it in. Sorry, I'm not signed in on my computer here to the chat box. So I can't paste it in. But if you go in and you look up 15 LinkedIn tips, so just hit the search bar up here, or just search back to September 14th. I got a post. It's got a video in it, and then it goes through all of these in greater detail to show you how that works as well. But I will show you live in person here how to do that. So right now I picked Vice President Sales in Calgary. Now I got 194 results. Now watch this. I'm going to go brackets around Vice President, capital or VP. Then I'm going to go brackets, sales, or marketing. And we're going to hit search. And it brought back 2,868 people that have literally the title of VP sales or marketing in there. So, if I had just gone with my original VP sales on this, then, I would have only had 198. I would have only had 198 people that would have come back as results. Now I get 2,868. Now there's a lot in here, so you're going to have to feed through and find out kind of more. You can, do further details. You can take a look for your first connections in here, or if you're trying to reach out and find people, you go your second connections and take that out. And so, I mean, that's how you do kind of the Boolean search and get that to work in your favor. So it brings back a dramatic amount of results for you. So there's a lot more opportunities for you. So hopefully that makes sense as well. Any other questions, guys? We're coming up on about 50 minutes here. Holy smokes. I just talk and talk and talk. If anyone has any other questions, I'll be glad to answer them as well. Let me poke around, see what other things I can take a look at. Sorry, guys, just looking. Oh, you want to see something that's really cool? Actually, if you have a list of people that you're prospecting or trying to keep in touch with and stuff like that, and you want to stay on their radar, here's something you can do. So, for example, I'm going to look at Liam here, and I mean, I don't know Liam, but one of the things I'm going to endorse him, even though I don't know him, but I'm going to get on his radar. Let's just say he's a guy that he's on kind of my top 20 list that I want to be going after, or top 50 or whatever it is. I can go into his profile, and if I go down here, I can see kind of his recent activities. And when I go into that, it's going to show me some of the stuff that he's actually commented on or posted up or anything like that. So one of the things that I can do here is, if I like this, you know what? I just go like, I can put a comment in here and I can hit share. And because I do any of that stuff, once again, it's going to show up in his notifications here. And so I start hitting Liam's radar. So the interesting thing on this is, let's say, for example, you have, you're going after CFOs and companies in a specific market. So I'm going to use oil and gas CFOs in a certain size range. And there's maybe 100 companies like that. I'm going to go look on LinkedIn and see if I can find these people and then try to reach out and connect with them. And then once I do connect with them, I just go in and I can set up once a week just to go through and take a look at what their activities are, and then, comment on anything that they may be doing. And that's how you get on the radar. And I'll tell you what, after you do that for like 4 or 5 weeks or something like that, if you pick up the phone and go, "Hey, it's Chris Hamilton here. I've been following you on LinkedIn. We're connected there. Really like your insights. Was hoping I could come in and see you because a lot of the stuff you're talking about is stuff that I help with," whatever that conversation looks like, right? You're going to probably stand a way better chance of getting that meeting with that person as well. Okay, so guest 9597, how to effectively generate referrals from LinkedIn Sent request in a message for people who endorse one of my skills. Ask them to ID one or more other people who might be able to open a follow-up for conversation. Have not heard back from anyone. Best thoughts around this. Okay, so let's see here. So that's one part. So how to effectively generate referrals in LinkedIn. So first thing I always tell people is try to make sure you're tracking your requests or the stuff that goes out. So I'll tell you why. I'll show you what I do, just so you get a better understanding. And there we are. So this is a sheet that I use. It's a Google Doc that I use. And I've got multiple, oh no, this isn't it actually. Sorry guys. There is another one. I got to find it. I have a document that I use that tracks who I reach out to and who I use to reach out with and everything like that. But let me just get this going. And bear with me for a sec here, guys, as I go through this. No, that's not it. Sorry for the lull in conversation here as I try to find what it is that I was doing. Okay, let's go linked. I think this might be it. Yep, this is it. Okay, so I've got this sheet that I reach out to people with, and what I do is I look for someone that I'm trying to reach out to for a referral, and I put their company, their title, their name. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go to kind of my last sheet here because I think it shows. This is a little cleaner, so I'll show it to you. So I have the name, I have the company, I have the who it is, what their title is, how I'm connected, whether it's second level, you can do third level, group level if you want. I never try to go through that. I ask for referrals from specific people, and then I send messages out, and I set up and I put notes in here to see whether I booked a meeting or not. And the thing that you can do is I do this kind of on a daily basis, and this is just a sample sheet. I actually have not reached out to Simon, Sherry, or Ryan or any of these guys, but it's just a sample sheet that I did for a post that I was doing. You can always go back and say, did the meeting happen? Did it not happen? And then what I tell people is, if nothing happened here or whatever, I'm waiting for a response. I know that, I sent the message this day. It's a few days later. I'm just going to go back to Ryan and say, hey, Ryan, do you mind? I sent this off a few days ago to see if you could introduce me. And do you mind, trying to introduce me into this person again? One of the things that you do though is make sure that you write an email that this person can use to introduce you with the reason why and the benefits that you're going to bring to that person. So it would be, this person can copy and paste it, put it into an email to their person and say, hey, can you, or I have a buddy who does this for these types of companies. He asked me to reach out to you to see if he could introduce you. His product or service typically does this, which has this benefits. They usually see this in the industry with companies like yours, where, it'd be like a 10% or a 50% reduction in costs or increase in productivity or whatever it is. He was hoping that I could introduce the two of you. Do you mind introducing them? And then, so what happens is then, that's the first message that goes out. Second one, cut the same thing again and send it to him and say, hey, look, I sent you this message. See if you could do it. Do you mind doing it again? If they don't get back to you, you know what, try to find another way. And that's the best way that I can say. If you only have one connection that's connected to that person, then you're kind of SOL. otherwise known as shit out of luck. If they're not doing it, then obviously there's a reason why they're not doing it. You can come straight out and ask them and say, do you not know them, or are you not comfortable doing this? Then the other step behind that would be just try to reach out. So in this case, let's say Simon wasn't willing to do it. I would reach out to Chad and say, hey, Chad, we have similar background, blah, 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 this and that. Was hoping to connect with you on LinkedIn, see if they connect. Boom, that's it, right? Hey, thanks for all the great trips, Chris. My SSI will soar. Got to go. Okay, thanks, Greg. Appreciate you showing up, guys, on that one. We're still going right now, but if anyone has to drop off, I'll keep going until there are no more questions. So anyways, I'm going back to your thing here. So people endorse one of my skills. Ask them to ID one or more people who might be open to So here's the other thing. Asking a person to ID one or more people who would be open to a follow-up conversation. I'm guessing what you did is someone's endorsed your skills, this, that. Let's see, effectively. So sorry, I'm trying to read your message. My eyesight's starting to go, and I got two computers going here. How to effectively generate from LinkedIn. Send a request in a message for the people who endorse one of my skills. Ask them to ID one or more people. Conversation, haven't heard back. Oh, okay. So here's another way you can do this. Sorry, this is glad you brought that up. Guest number 9597. Hate to call you guest 9597. Tell me who you are. Let's see here. So what you do, I'm going to go into someone's profile, and let's go into, I'm going to go into Mike Skripnik's profile, even though he's leaving right now. And some people's profiles have this, other people's don't. And here's something you can do. Once again, I'm going to endorse these guys. Here's something you can do. If you scroll down their page, a lot of times people will have who they're connected to. Bingo. There we are. Connections. So right here, he's opened up his connections to me. So if you're asking someone to do something for you, saying, hey, can you think of someone that I can connect with? You got to remember, people are busy. They don't necessarily give their thoughts. Hey, Ken, thanks for letting me know it's you. I appreciate that. People are, they got to go back and go, oh, geez, this person wanted to get this kind of introduction. I got to go in and do this stuff, right? Here's a better way to do this is you can go into the person's profile, go down to their connections. And once again, sometimes people have this in their profile, sometimes they don't, right? I'm going to click next here and see what I can find. So it's going to bring up all the shared connections that I have with say Mike here. I can go in here and go sales, for example, and see if there's anyone who's a sales related person as well. And so I can go through here. Now this is a bad example because Mike's only got it set so that I can see his first level connections. You know what? I know a person who actually I can do this on because I've seen it before. I'm going to go into John Zahari's thing down here. So where are his connections? Connections there. Okay, so if you see only shared, then the person has it set up just so that you can only see shared. If you see all, then what happens is they've got their profile set wide open. So you can see who they're connected to as well. And you can also see who their new people that they're connected to. So if I click all, I go in here and let's say I'm trying to find a CFO person. I click in here and I get 86 results back on CFO. And so this is, I'll just go into the advanced search here. And I'm going to take a look and I can kind of whittle this down. I just want to take a look at anyone who's a second level connection. So it brings it down to 40. And I want to look at anyone who is, let's say, in Calgary, for example. And so then what I would do is I would go through this list and I would just scroll through and say, is there anyone in here that I want to see if I can get an introduction to? And for example, like let's say I want to meet Bob Nicolay here, Rob Nicolay. I know Bob, I've met him before. I would just simply say, I'd send an email to John and say, hey, I see that you're connected to Robert, to Bob Nicolay over at Oak Point Energy. Was wondering if you could make an introduction for me. Reason being is that I've got something in the market that might help him out. And, here's a blurb that you can use. So that's one of the ways that you can do that. So, what is, if you can take as much off other people's plates, then literally, if you dumb it right down for them and literally just you lead the horse to water, hopefully it's going to drink, but do the heavy leg work for them, and then eventually these people will end up, they will do this sort of stuff for you. That's one of the ways that I've found works the best for getting people to do stuff. Just do all the legwork for them, and then just spoon feed it to them. And that's, so I hope that answers your question, Ken. The other one, you asked if you can track it in Contactually. Absolutely, you can track it in Contactually. So if you've got a list like I have here of people, the Contactually is a CRM system, guys, that people can use to track stuff. Hold on for a sec here. I'm going to pull up my Contactually account. One of the things that I like in Contactually is that I can add a person to Contactually account. So I can literally take anyone from this list. I can add a new contact in here. I can add them to what they call a bucket. So I got these buckets, which are, assigned based on specific parameters to people that mean something to me. So for example, if they're a prospect and I want to reach out to them, every 30 days, this sets a reminder and just tells me it's time to reach out to this person again. So technically you can do that in here. The only thing that I would say about that is that, you could be potentially duplicating efforts to do that. I love the spreadsheet method. And then once I get a meeting with this person, then I'll put them into Contactually so that they can go into a specific bucket to follow up with them, Ken. So I hope that answers your question. You could do it, but I would recommend once you get the meeting with the person that's how you do it. So there you go. So one of the other things, hopefully I can share my screen with you on this one. Ken, another strategy is to work for me is sending a connect request directly and part of the message stating we have a couple of few share a link network. So we have a few number of connections in common. Yes, that works. I have a concern with endorsing everyone that you look at their profile. Personally, I think endorse the most. The same on the recommendation. I know I have to know, like, and trust. Absolutely. You know what? So I do that with people just because that's kind of the way I do things. I'm not recommending everyone do this. Do what you're comfortable with, Carol, obviously. I do it more because a lot of the people that I come up against and I've got a relationship with, I know them. So I just click it and go, give them an endorsement, obviously. But if you're not comfortable doing that, then don't endorse them. It's the same thing. Don't give them a recommendation. You don't have to do something you don't want to, is the best way to look at it, Carol. Hey, by the way, back to, the one other question that we were looking at, which was, let's see here. We have a few. Okay, so the question guest 2055 said to Ken, which is we have a few connections in common. The other thing you can do is if you're actually part of a group, this came straight from LinkedIn. If you're part of a group in LinkedIn, then one of the things you can do when you reach out to someone is say, hey, we're part of the same group on LinkedIn, and maybe we share the same sort of connection. If you mention a similar group, you have about a 70% greater chance of them actually connecting with you as well. So it just automatically ups. If you're building that kind of, here's that bridge between us type thing that people start to, according to Carol, know, like, and trust here, right? So you're starting to build some credibility with them, and And that's how you get in the door, by just leveraging some of the same group connections that you have as well. Wow, that's a full hour. I dedicated 2 hours, but unless, does anyone have any more questions? I'll wait for a few minutes, because there's a couple of minutes, because there's a delay in between. One of the things I'm going to try to do is share a different screen with you guys. So just bear with me. I'm going to pull this screen up now, and hopefully it's here. I was not active on LinkedIn for a while. Most of the posts seem to be a month longer. Carol, you're welcome. Sorry, guest 2055. I'm trying to look at your stuff. Have you noticed a decrease in the group engagements? I haven't been active on LinkedIn a month or so. I'm not sure my settings are off. The groups have lost a lot of engagement. I haven't. I still see the engagements. I think it's going to go up personally, because of the fact that people will start promoting a bunch of different things in their groups as well. So, the promotions tab's gone. So all that stuff's going to start going into the conversations tab as well. The one thing it's going to be is it's going to be a pain in the butt for anyone that moderates these groups to delete the stuff that is spam. It's just going to take a long time. It'll take time out of their world on that one. Okay, so here's something. So my next social selling webcast is on December 2nd at 9 a.m. And if you want to get to it, go to bit.ly/LinkedIn social selling. It'll take you through to the registration page, and then you can register there. And if Adam's still on, he can attest. I went through a bunch of stuff. I ended up helping him increase his social selling score and getting him into some new meetings just on some of the stuff he gleaned right from just the webinar that I give. The first one ran about 2 hours. The last one ran about an hour and 40 minutes. I'm trying to get them down in size. Hey, Marlon, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you're here. Anyways, couple of things here. I do have a LinkedIn social selling success course. Typically it's $199. In this case, I'm actually dropping it to $129. Hold on, Marlon. I will, or wait, I guess 2055. I'll get to your question in a sec here. The course it's a LinkedIn social selling success course, multiple hours of step-by-step videos and content. And there are basically a lot of content in there, 14 ways to get sales leads, and then 30 more tips and tricks to potentially get you sales leads as well. And over 8 hours of marketing courses that I included in it. That's a whole bunch of gobbledygook right there that actually shows some of the stuff that we do with the 30 tips. But I'll tell you what, some of them are just ways that you can grow your LinkedIn network, how to get your messages or the stuff that you're putting out in front of a whole bunch of people on a consistent basis. Long story short, it's great course, regularly $299. Now it's next 4 days. It's $129. It was $99 last week. I'm slowly upping the price because I'm getting more and more people buying it. You can use the code November 18 when you register to get that for $129. If you go to salestipadayteachable.com/courses/LinkedIn social selling success, just follow that link, and it will take you through to the page. It looks like this. Put that code in there, and there you go. I always tell people, take action, man. If you can get 10 more qualified meetings a week, get 50% of those into a funnel with a 30% close rate, means you're getting 78 more sales a year, right? So the tips and tricks that I give in that thing totally are amazing on that stuff. In addition, I'll also give you a half an hour consultation on LinkedIn, which is typically what I give is about a $200 value on that one. So I'll go back here. I'm going to answer the question. Do the LinkedIn paid accounts allow you to connect with more than 50 groups? No, they do not. LinkedIn has it locked down so that you can only get into 50 groups. My suggestion is, if you can, start groups. Think about what your target demographic is, and then what you can, how you can work within that target demographic and build something up. So for example, I'm going to go back to my LinkedIn account here, and let's share screen. Bear with me for a sec, folks. And I'm back into my screen share, hopefully. Go into groups, and I'll show you my groups. So I've got, I have 3 groups that I use, and I've got Sales Tip a Day, I've got Energy Services Professionals, and Deal Flow Canada. I also manage 4 or 5 groups for another client of mine. But in this case, for example, I was working with a client who had energy services clients, and so I set up an energy services professionals group. And this is great because within this group, there's like 349 members. And what I do is on a monthly basis, I go through and I just, I literally connect with these people. And if they're second level connection, I connect with them. So it grows my network. And these are people that are in kind of a target demographic that I'm going after. One of the other groups I've got, which is a smaller group, but nonetheless is a good group, is Deal Flow Canada. So I was working with a company that did stuff for selling and buying companies. And same thing, I just set this group up and invited a bunch of people in. The reason why you want to do this, a couple of reasons, is one, you become kind of an industry thought leader by doing this sort of stuff. You get to connect with a lot of people. That's a secondary thing. Third thing is, what I love is once a week, I can actually send an announcement out to people to let them know about things. Now, I can't right now because I sent one the other day, but I can actually send an announcement to all the people in the group with a message. And I did that specifically talking about this LinkedIn session today, and I'll do it in a couple of weeks for my next LinkedIn session as well. So there you go. So hopefully, I don't know, are there any other questions? We've dwindled off from about 20 people or so online to down to 6. So first off, hey guys, appreciate all of you staying for this long. If this is going to end now, if you still have more questions, I'll stay for upwards of another kind of 45 minutes. But if you don't, I absolutely have value the time that you spent with me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you gleaned a little bit more today on how to leverage LinkedIn and how to use it to your benefit. So with that said, I'm going to be a tad bit quiet right now and just I'm going to go take a look and see what's going on. Hey, if anyone ever wants to know about how to do one of these, let me know. Reach out to me. I use something called Lead Pages to create this profile here, so that you do this. I use live events through LinkedIn, and then I tie stuff in with my email and also with email marketing system. And last but not least, I use something called Chat Roll here to engage with people on this sort of stuff. So there you go. So I don't think I see any other questions coming in here. So I'll tell you what, guys, everybody, greatly appreciate your time. I'm going to try to do these at least once a month. They may become repetitive from some of the topics that come up, but literally, I'll throw it out and let you guys know about it. And as always, reach out to me if you have any questions, chris@salestipaday.com. If you're in North America, give me a call on my cell phone, 403-630-1243, or text me at 403-630-1243 as well. Thanks a ton, and I greatly appreciate your time today, and have a good one.